Miami Dolphins news coming at you here. We're going to break down the latest around cornerback Xavien Howard, who hired a new agent today, the DEC management. And I'll tell you what, when I hear that, I think he is looking to get paid after an incredible season, the 2020 Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's intriguing to me. Now, there's been a little bit of whispers, please don't get mad at me, Dolphins fans, for saying this, but you guys saw it too, I'm sure, that, maybe Miami could trade Howard, which at the deadline I thought was asinine, and of course they kept him, and for good reason. He had a fantastic year.
10 picks.
He's got 3 years left on his deal.
That's what I don't like.
I don't think Miami's going to be like, sure, we'll restructure your contract. Now, maybe Howard didn't love being the number 2 highest paid corner on his own team. Maybe you could make that work out with a little bit of a pay raise there. But I don't think you blow up and tear up his contract altogether. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. As good as he was this year. And you can afford it, but that's a little bit of a dangerous precedence to set. If it gets to 2 years, I'm down.
The issue that I have, honestly, with this from Howard's standpoint is when he's on the field, he's great. And you can make the argument the best cornerback in all of football right next to Jalen Ramsey. But it's not like they're paying him chump change. I mean, he's still a top 5 paid cornerback in the National Football League. And the only other thing with a lot of these other guys is Howard's missed a lot of time. I mean, are you going to invest another big-time contract into a player who he played only 5 games just a season ago? I mean, when he's on the field, he is great. There's no doubt about it. But he's also having a career year, a lot of interceptions. I do think Byron Jones helped out a lot because they targeted Howard more.
It is not a coincidence that Byron Jones came in and the Dolphins saw the best year by a wide margin out of Xavien Howard. He got picked on a lot still. He had over 100 targets his way, which is a wild number for a cornerback. Helps that Byron Jones is playing so well. But don't make any mistake about it. I saw some people on Twitter being like, Howard should have been an all-pro. All right, dumbass, come on now. You allow barely 52% completion percentage on over 100 targets, and you break up 20 passes with 10 interceptions against 4 touchdowns?
Phenomenal.
Come on. He had an awesome year. So, no, I don't really want to be like, yeah, sure, we'll go ahead and redo your deal with 3 years left on, and I think that's a bit of a risky precedence. But if you want to switch agents right now and get ready for that down the road, I got no issue with it at all.
Okay.
I think that makes no sense.
If I'm Miami, I'll say, okay, Howard, if you want to go ahead and get a raise, maybe figuring out a contract that can stay the same, making it a little bit higher with some incentives. But I don't know, man. I hate the idea of you just getting paid a lot of money. Sure, it might not have been a good contract, just what I'm seeing some reports out there. But you're still a top 5 paid corner.
Highest at the time, I think.
It was the highest at the time. But if you're going to go down with an injury, maybe you shouldn't make as much money.
If you're trying to get more guaranteed money left on the back end of that deal, I can actually kind of understand that. But I don't think it's going to be a full-fledged, new contract for you. Congrats. I don't think that's a good path for Miami, as good as Howard is.
So who's the best cornerback in the National Football League? The names that come to mind for me are some of the names that we showed you a little bit previously on today's show, which was Jalen Ramsey.
He was awesome this year.
Trey White. And then I'd probably throw Howard and maybe Byron Jones in there. Stephon Gilmore, obviously.
I'm not going to throw Byron in there this year. I thought he was actually a little bit worse, but it's balanced out because you're playing man-to-man. It works out fine with the way Howard played. You had a really great 1-2 punch there. I'm gonna go with Jalen Ramsey in the end.
Yeah.
Teams didn't throw at him, and when they did, he pretty much locked them down.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Tom. I'm gonna go Jalen Ramsey. Close second is probably between Howard and Stephon Gilmore. The number 1 product on the market right now for all guys out there, if you want to go ahead and get a perfect package, is the Get the Perfect Package from Manscaped. Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping. The reason why it's called the Perfect Package is because if you use all their products, your package is going to look perfect. Now, I don't know if this survey is real, but I read it underneath a Snapple cap. 10 out of 10 women love the Perfect Package.
I am inclined to agree with that one. And you know what? You guys should appreciate it too.
Sounds real.
You don't want a bunch of hair down there. Unkempt, not the way to go. A, it's frankly not that comfortable for either party involved. And B, it makes it look a little bit bitter when you're nice and trimmed up down there.
I mean, you get an extra inch or two, and that's what football is all about, those extra inches. So go to manscaped.com/chat. That link is going to be available for you all in the description and in the comments section below. Seriously, go ahead, check out their products. All their products there, not just the ones that you see on screen, are all awesome. Manscaped.com/chat, 20% off and free shipping. Ball deodorant, ball toner, it all comes with it, y'all. Don't waste time. Go ahead, especially for y'all in Miami. It is hot as balls down there, so go ahead, take advantage of some of these deals. Let's now talk about the Senior Bowl in Miami. they're going to be coaching it up. So it's the Dolphins and the Panthers coaching at the Senior Bowl, which is going to take place January 30th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time.
There you go, in 2021, right? Because that's what year we're in. It's a big deal for Miami and for Carolina as well. This allows them a very close and in-person look at some of these top prospects. Coaching the Senior Bowl is a nice addition for any organization. Now, the Dolphins had the number 3 pick, right, from Houston.
Correct.
And Senior Bowl director Jim Nagy had previously said Miami was actually 18th in the pecking order based on their actual draft position.
Okay. So
I don't know if a bunch of teams just said no because of coaching staff changes and or COVID protocols and all of that, but typically they like to keep fuller staffs. Like, for example, the Bengals are overhauling most of their offensive staff. They wouldn't be there for the Senior Bowl in time. Like, that's a tricky part there. So to have the Dolphins with not just 4 picks in the top 50, but 5 in the top 100, I think it's 86 exactly, that's a big deal for Miami. They have a lot of draft capital, and they're going to be able to get a close look at something very important. Namely, how these players respond and react to coaching. Because it's not that difficult, in all honesty, to do the scouting side of it. Where things get dicey is, okay, how are they as people? How do they respond to coaching? How do they show quick growth in there? Because you're going to get new coaching in the NFL. So that's kind of a big deal. To understand the player side of it means a lot to these coaches. And oftentimes, you see the teams who coach the Senior Bowl, they take quite a few Senior Bowl players in the actual draft.
Absolutely. And you also hit the nail on the head also with like some of these teams that try to replace coaches. That also kind of tells me that you're going to see Miami potentially add a new OC since they got rid of Chan Gailey. Or
probably going to try and move quickly.
Gailey, step down, however you guys want to phrase it. They're probably going to try to move quickly, bring somebody in, because you obviously want to have your offensive coordinator working around some of these Senior Bowl prospects. So the Dolphins are definitely a team to watch out for. The 7th most in cap space right now, I believe $33.3 million. A lot of draft capital, a good up-and-coming team. And I'll tell you what, we're going to be continuing to talk about these Miami Dolphins for a long, long time. If you're a diehard Dolphin fan, subscribe to our Dolphins channel. It's youtube.com/Dolphins News. So at pick number 3, the Miami Dolphins select. Who do you think it's going to be? And you guys let us know, too.
I think there are the 4 most logical outcomes unless this pick gets traded. I think it's either A, Penei Sewell. Maybe one of those guys plays right tackle between him and Austin Jackson. I think you kick Robert Hunt into guard, and now you got a pretty promising offensive line.
At our right tackle.
Which is to his blind side, of course, hypothetically, although he's been a left tackle, so you got to make some changes. It's fine. You can make it work with a full offseason. I think I'd take one of those receivers if not. And that's Jamar Chase from LSU. It's Devonta Smith from Alabama, and also Jalen Waddle from Alabama. And if you can trade down and get one of those 4 guys, you do that in a heartbeat too, by the way. Frankly, if I'm Miami, I take that number 3 pick, I give it to a team that needs a quarterback, and I slide down getting extra draft capital in the process.